wanted to take a few minutes today and do a quick video on sportsmanship. There are a lot of tennis videos out there that anybody can watch on all different angles. I don't see very many on sportsmanship. So I'm going to use my own self as an example, having 5 of my own kids that play. And I'll just use some examples of how important sportsmanship can be on all levels when we do anything in life, but specifically on the tennis court for this video, but all of which can be applied to anything you do in life. When you're playing tennis, a lot of people tend to teach, or not necessarily teach, but coach just hitting balls. And yes, you have to hit many balls. But it seems like the more and more tennis matches I go to, or the more tournaments that I go to, I see more and more kids that don't know how to hold a tennis racket, that carry it with the racket down on the ground, or with their shoulders slunched over, or spinning it habitually, consistently spinning. My 15-year-old son, he loves to spin his racket constantly, just spinning and spinning. So that's just a few of the things. But number one, I mentioned those at first because in tennis, people watch you play from afar away, from afar, from 3 courts away, from the stands, from the bleachers. And if all that a person sees from afar is habitual racket spinning, holding the racket down at the ground like this, walking around, it doesn't really look anything more than some average John Doe that honestly has never stepped on the court before. Every time that we walk on the court, we need to look and feel like a tennis player, or our mental fortitude, in my opinion, doesn't carry into the match. My 15-year-old son, again, he is great at spinning his racket, which I think is a distraction to himself, which I think is also a distraction to people watching. My 13-year-old, he likes to walk around with his racket head down, like this. It's always more beneficial to carry your racket head up. It's kind of like if you go to a job interview. If you look good and you feel good, generally you have a good interview. I feel the same thing for tennis. If you walk on the court, you feel good, you look good, then I think your game will start out better. So just a quick thing for students, I would always not only coach strokes, I would not only coach tactics, but also we want to coach court conduct, court attitude, and sportsmanship. And it starts with how you carry your racket, head up, cradle it. If you're right-handed, your grip sweaty, let the grip air out. Don't hold the racket head down, it looks sloppy. Hold it up, okay? These are just minor things. Anybody that plays or coaches tennis can notice a tennis player from 100 miles away. I've been in airports and had people walk up to me, hey, I can tell you play tennis by the way you walk, or by the way you talk, or by the way you carry yourself, and that's a compliment. So I encourage any coach to teach court conduct, to be a gentleman or a young lady, and to look that part. Secondly, I see a lot of kids these days going to the net and shaking hands at the net and looking away and giving people a fish handshake. Who needs it? We need to teach our students to go out and to shake hands at the net, whether they lost 6-0, 6-0, or won 6-0, 6-0, and thank their opponent for allowing them to play one another. Look them in the eye and give them a firm handshake, and that is man or woman. This is something we even see in the pros these days. People get disgruntled, bent out of shape, and they walk up to the net, and they don't even extend their hand, or they're too mad to offer someone some thanks or, hey, great match. To me, that's one of the worst things that a coach can see on the tennis court. Personally, if it was my son that didn't shake hands to the net with an opponent, whether he won or whether he lost, I think I would have to make him right for like a month on how to be a better sportsman. Always shake hands at the net. Always look at your opponent in the eye, and always shake his or her hand and thank them for the great match. More so, kids' attitudes on the court. I'll use my 15-year-old son again because he played a match yesterday and he lost the match, in my opinion, because of his court conduct. So again, I'm using my own self for an example. that I experienced just yesterday, and I experience it all the time, hence why I'm making the video. So my son starts out serving. He double faults a couple of times, and his whole posture, court conduct, and attitude went downhill. So you could see it. He walked out there great, looking good. He double faults, and all of a sudden, he slouched over and kind of walking around and so forth. So I knew right then that he had basically compromised his court conduct, which brings down energy, it brings down thought, it brings down tactics. And he found himself down pretty big at quick, shook it off late, and then came back, still lost, but unfortunately that first lapse of court conduct costed him dearly. So I encourage any coaches out there to please coach the psychology behind court conduct. You can have the best player in the world out there, but if he or she breaks down mentally or emotionally or attitudinally, then it's going to be a long day. So I think that at the end of the day, there's a lot of things we can talk about in terms of court conduct, and we can go on and on at length about it. But I think that, one, a tennis player should look like a tennis player. They should carry themselves like a tennis player. They should be very comfortable with shaking someone's hand at the net, looking them in the eye, and thanking them for the ability to play matches. I see also a lot of bad line calls these days, and I get it, it's part of the game. People are going to get combatant, they're going to be wanting to win, especially at the junior ranks. Balls land 6 inches in, you know, that was out if it was a break point in a long game. I get that's what kids do, at least a lot of them. But I encourage coaches to teach their kids that it is okay to lose, but it's not okay to make bad line calls. And we see a lot of this. And when I see kids at tournaments that make these really bad line calls, like blatantly, sure, we're going to miss some calls. We're humans and we don't have perfect perception all the time. But when it's habitual and there's coaches right behind these kids, I think that it's our duty as coaches to tell these kids to do the right thing and be complimentary of their good shots and to applaud that, because basically it just makes for bad sportsmanship to erupt on both sides of the court, and none of us watching that need to see that. So at the end of the day, again, thank you for watching, and I don't mean to ramble on about sportsmanship, but today I felt like it would be a good day to talk about sportsmanship for a minute. And furthermore, tennis is really a wonderful game, and it takes a lot of practice. And when we don't play well, yes, our head goes down. But we must not forget that there's people watching, there's other kids involved, there's other parents involved, there's other players involved that are struggling in life in of their own, and they're out there to do well or to try to do their best. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it makes things worse to watch bad line calls, people argue, people slouching around, and so forth. So again, sorry again to ramble on. I really coach sportsmanship a lot, and I think it's highly important as a development in any player. Can you hit balls? Great. Can you strategize? Great. Are you in shape? Great. Well, that's great too, but if you don't have sportsmanship, who really and truly wants to watch you play? So anyway, thanks for watching. Keep the sportsmanship up. Life's tough enough. When you go out on the tennis court, act like a tennis player, be thankful, and just try to do your best, like we all try to do every day. So from here at 5K Tennis, thanks a lot for watching. If you have any further feedback or comments on how we can coach better sportsmanship, please let us know. Check out our website, www.5ktennis.com. Subscribe below, it helps us all here. So in the meantime, have a great day, and appreciate you watching. And hey, all thumbs up for sportsmanship. Let's coach it, guys. All right? See ya.